Hello everybody, Whitney with Girl Friday Crafts. I'm super excited to be back with you all again today. Get myself all my electronics out of the way. I was watching Tanya to make sure that I knew when it was time for me to go, but you can't go back and forth. Once you have everything ready to go live, you can't go off that screen because it'll mess everything up. So I apologize, I sound terrible. And I want to refresh in the group so I can see comments. Make sure that I'm live. Yes. I sound awful. I'm a little under the weather. I feel better than I sound, so just bear with me. I'm medicated and all the things, so hopefully we'll get through this without a coughing fit. I think that's my biggest fear. So I'm going to adjust my camera because you all don't really need to see me. You need to see my workspace. And we are going to be making some cards today using this Couture transfer. This is, what is this one called? It's called From Santa with Love. It just came out this year. And so if you got the kit, you got this. Good morning, everybody. Oh, thank you, Tina. I love this shirt. Cindy Lou's one of my favorite Christmas characters. If you got the kit, you got this transfer sheet. You got 3 chalk suede cards, which I'll talk about in a minute, and you got 3 packets of chalk paste. So everybody got a red, everybody got a green, and I think everybody got shimmer silver, although there might have been some shimmer golds thrown in there. Because I might have run out of shimmer silver. And then you should have gotten a squeegee. And I think that was everything. This is a pretty simple initial set. I have a couple of techniques that I want to show you. I should have time to do at least 2-3 of the things that I want to do, maybe more, depending on how quickly I can move. So the first thing we're going to do is we're just going to make one very simple card using the transfer, the card, and one of the paste colors. So the card base that you got in your kit, which I do still have kits available. So sunny New Mexico. I'm jealous, New Mexico, because it is not, well, it's a little sunny in central Illinois, but it's snowing. The card you got in your kit was a chalk suede card. So it's a kind of a special kind of paper. It's coated. Chalk doesn't make the cards anymore, but they do make chalk suede paper. So it comes in 12 by 12 sheets. So you can kind of cut it to size to make cards still. So just because you can't get it cut as cards, you can still do it. And I wanted you to have this just to see what it's like and play with it. I'm not a big fan of white card bases, so I tend to put things on it, but I do like these because they're very sturdy. So even if you want to use it for embellishments or something like that, it works out really well. So we're just going to do this first card. I'm going to use this Ho 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 transfer. Anybody who is not familiar with chalk couture, it's a silk screen transfer. So think of a stencil. But there's mesh in the negative space, and the back side of the transfer is sticky so that it adheres really well to your surface. But what you want to do, depending on what you're working with, is it's a very serious scientific process called defuzzing. So you want to take a little bit of that sticky off so that it stays but does not lift your paste up or ink up when you are pulling the transfer off. Now, there are certain surfaces that it sticks to more than others. Chalk suede paper is one of those. I will defuzz or fuzz a transfer 8 to 10 times just in general. I go a little more if I'm using acrylic or chalk suede as my surface. Glass is the same because it sticks. Kind of tell people, because when I do this, you can feel the resistance. You can feel it give some. And tell people, go until you think you're done, and then go a few more times. And then we're just going to put the transfer on the card. And I'm going to use one of the paste packs because I want to show you all a good trick for opening them. These are definitely more than single use unless you're doing a really big project. So if you use Couture but there's a color that you don't have and you don't want a whole jar of it, or if you're new to Couture and you want to play around but you don't want to make a huge investment, the paste and ink packs are a good way to go. So I cut it open from the bottom so that you keep your color here at the top. And I kind of push as much of it down as I can so that when you cut it, it doesn't all come out. And then I make a little diagonal cut. And then you want to just put a little bit out. I have these color trays. You can use whatever you want. You can even just put it on like parchment paper or something. You do not need a lot. So I just put a little bit out on the tray, and then normally I would have a paper towel, which I forgot to get out, and I kind of try to wipe any excess off, and then I roll it down to where that cut is covered as much as possible, and then I clip it. I think I have one in here. Clip it with a binder clip like that, and then put it in a little Ziploc bag, and that will keep. I have ones that I opened like 6 months ago that are still usable. And if it dries out, if you can get it into a color tray and add some distilled water to it, you can usually reactivate it. So we're just gonna get the ink, or not the ink, the paste on the squeegee. Might have actually not gotten enough. We'll see how much I can get this to spread. Go figure. I'm not used to working with the packs. I just usually use my jars, which I should just grab one. Just spread this on your surface on the card. You can use this on cardstock, which we will do a little bit later if I have time. Because one of the things that I like about these mini transfers is that they're small, which makes them easy to use for embellishments and layering and things like that. So we're going to do this, and I'm just going to grab a corner, and I'm going to pull up slowly. And sorry, there we go. So you've got this. This is our first little card. Very simple. I think I got a little bit of red on the edge there when I was pulling it up. I think I probably went too far off the transfer. But these are nice for when you're wanting to make handmade cards. I think those of us who make handmade cards, we have like a group of people that we send our cards to that those cards are gonna be a labor of love. And then we have a group that we want to be handmade, but we don't want it to take like, an hour and a half to make one card. These are nice because You can lay out a bunch of cards, put your transfers on them, go through and put your chalk on them, pull them off, and then they're pretty much done. And they're very cute. They're very nice. You can add, a little bit to them if you want, a little more embellishment. You can add a little more detail from another transfer or another stencil. But essentially that took me, less than a minute probably to make one card. So if you have a large amount of cards to make and you want to do handmade, but you have a certain number that you don't want it to be a massive investment of time, this is an easy way to do that. So that's one, and that's just your basic sort of how you use chalk products anyway. So the second one is using deco foil. I'm going to turn my laminator on, and you can do this with a laminator or with a die cut machine. I'm doing it with the laminator today because it just takes up less space on my desk, but the process is the same. So you're going to have your deco foil. What color do I use? Let's use the red because it'll show up nicely. And my group calls those hour-and-a-half people card worthy because they'll understand the effort. Yes, that is very true. That is very true. And I'm gonna pop another light on here so you all can see this. So this technique involves using the chalk transfer, deco foil, right there, and then the transfer gel. And then, like I said, either a laminator or a die cut machine. So you're going to take the transfer of your choice, and let's see, which one do I want to use? Let's just use Santa's Little Helper because I already have that one cut. Oh, wait, no, hold on. That card's different. I'm going to talk about that in a minute. And you still want to fuzz it because when you lift up the transfer, you don't want it to pull up any of the transfer gel. So we're still going to do this. I can't talk and count at the same time. Although I can usually do it by feel. And if you have a transfer that you've used a lot and is just not as sticky on the back, you don't need to do it as much. Most surfaces, I would tell you don't need to fuzz at all, except maybe on like chalk suede and acrylic, because those are super sticky. So you're going to take the transfer gel and you're going to I apply it with a squeegee. You're not going to hurt your transfer. I have a water bath over here next to me. I always keep a water bath when I'm using chalk stuff. And I put my transfers right in that when I'm done so that they get in water right away and prevents everything from drying. You don't want to soak them for hours, but like for the length of time that I'm presenting, they'll be fine. And then you're just going to very carefully peel your transfer up. And then I'm going to try and show you all this, but I'm not sure you're going to be able to see it. You have an outline. Oh yeah, you can see a little bit. You have an outline of the transfer on the card with the gel. Now, the gel instructions say to let it dry for at least an hour. I have never done that. I've always used a drying tool. So what I did this morning was, when I started watching the show and getting my own stuff set up, I went ahead and put, you can't even, there you go, turn it in the angle, you can see it. I went ahead and put some gel on one card to let it dry for the hour. Now it is still going to be tacky, but it says to let it dry an hour or until it's clear. And I know you all can't see it because it's very subtle. I can see the difference between these two. The question is whether or not I'm going to be able to see the difference once I've used my drying tool, and then is the outcome going to be different? So we're going to do both because, you know, why not? We're here. So I'm going to dry this one real quick, very carefully. Now I can tell just by looking that this one, the one I did earlier, is more dry because it's clearer. So the question is going to be, how much of a difference does that actually make? And I'm going to write on the back. So I'm trying to remember what I did. I didn't do a cut apart last month. So I've been going back and forth lately with how I store my transfers. And for a while with my cut aparts, I was trying to cut them on and leave the backing sheet intact, but that's hard to do, and it's hard especially if I'm live. So I've gone back to cutting them apart. When I cut them apart, what I like to do is I take a piece of tape and I write on the back of the backing sheet what transfer goes on there, so that when I put them all back together later, everything fits the way it's supposed to. Okay, so now we are going to take our foil, and this deco foil comes in these little containers, and there's, let's see, 5 sheets of foil in the container. So I'm going to get off one sheet. I'm going to try to roll this back up. I don't do this very well. Actually, I'll do this later. I don't need to bore you all with that. And then we're gonna just cut it down. So I am using the grid lines on my cutting mat here a little bit because the transfer size is 3x3. So I know I don't need anything bigger than that. Try not to waste the foil. We'll talk about the afterwards conversation we've been having about this technique and what do you do with the foil that comes off and leaves the design on. Somebody's got to be able to figure out something. So then you're going to take the foil and you're just going to press it ever so lightly on top of the gel. And this is the one that I did earlier this morning. So this is the one that's been dried for over an hour. And then what you want to do is you want to create a little envelope. And this is to create some depth for when it goes in the laminator, and then it's the same process for when you are going on when you're using a die cut machine. So let's see, I am lagging and I'm not sure where I am here. Just trying to make sure you all can still see me. There's a little bit of lag going on my end. Here we are. Okay. Alright, we're caught up. So my envelope is just a piece of printer paper folded in half, and then a half sheet of cardstock that just goes over. And then just going to run it through my laminator. And this is just a laminator that I got on Amazon, nothing special. It has come in handy. I've used it as an actual laminator, so it's been nice for a couple of things. And like I said, if you're using a die cut machine, you create the same envelope and then you just run it through your die cut machine. And the pressure has the same effect as the heat on the laminator. Okay, so then we're going to take this very carefully, pull this up, and so I had a little bit where the foil didn't stay. Don't know if that's because I missed it with the gel. Like, did I not get gel in that area? Did it not dry all the way? Did it dry too much? I'm still playing around with this technique, so that is something that I don't know the answer to because I haven't done it enough. And we're going to repeat the process. So this is the one that I just did and then just dried with my heat tool. Make sure that that's down really. Oh, shooty. Moved the gel, or moved the foil. Make sure that's down really well. I missed user error on this one already. That's okay. Alright, I'll slide that through again. Yeah, it's very fun. And, you know, really simple to do. Kind of elegant. Alright, put that to the side. I'm going to turn the laminator off. And I'll be honest, I didn't think that the die cut machine was going to work as well, but it really did. It's really just about the pressure. So that one turned out okay. I'm not sure what that came from right there. I think I got a little glue or a little gel on the outside of the transfer, and so it just held down some of the foil. And then, you know, what you could do if you wanted is you could go in, depending on the design and color scheme. So even on this one, you know, you could go in with paint. Or, you know, you could use a chalk paste and a watercolor technique, and you could paint in, you know, these white areas of the foil. You know, you could paint in the elf's hat or his face or his ears, or, you know, you could use another stencil or another transfer again and still add some borders around there. This is also really cute for gift tags, because you can do this on, you know, cardstock or anything like that. So that's that. And then, so the conversation that we've had as on my team as we've been playing with this is there has to be something you can do with these, because you have these lovely foil cutouts that now have the negative space in there. So we've joked, and I've never played around with it. I'm going to put these aside and see if I can play around with it. But could you, if you were to glue that, would the glue hold? Would the glue tear it? Would it stay? I'd want to cut it and make it even and things like that. But that's been part of the conversation, is like, what do you do with this? Because it feels like a waste to not figure out something to do with it. So that may be a YouTube search that I have to do later. And if I come up with something, I'll let y'all know. Or if anybody else has suggestions in the comments. Alright, we're going to put that back in my foil. Okay, so that's those two. I'm going to put this down to the side. And then, so the next thing we're going to do, okay, so this is my least favorite. But I feel like it's just one of those ones that I need to practice more. And once I practice, I feel like I'd like it more. So this is using glitter. And I will say, you don't want to use super, super fine glitter because it clumps too easily. So I would recommend a medium glitter. You don't need the big chunky stuff either. Okay, we're going to use the star. And my glitter glue was not cooperating this morning. I was trying to make sure that I could get it out of the container, and I don't know what's going on with it seems like the tip was clogged, but I cleaned it all out real good and still wouldn't work. So figured, you know what? Elmer's works just fine. So we will do this with Elmer's. Aw, thank you. This is fun. So I actually learned these things from another chalk designer. His name's Ken Hess. He put them on his YouTube channel. He was doing Halloween cards. And I was like, oh man, that's so cool. And he actually was using ink to make cards. And I played around with that, and I liked that a lot. The ink is just a little smoother than the paste. And I kind of felt like to keep it from keep it from drying so fast on a card base or a card like a chalk suede, it worked really well. I opted for paste on this just because paste has more utility for people who are not chalk users. Like ink is very specific for textiles and things like that. You bought the kit, you have the transfers and the paste, and you can use that on pretty much anything. But if you have some ink, you can do all of these things with ink as well. Okay, so we're going to put this down. And similar to the deco foil, we're going to take some glue. Maybe. Really? I'm gonna have just glue problems today. Come on. I just used this the other day, so there we go. That's probably way too much, but sorry. So you're gonna take your transfer. Now this one, I am gonna prep my glitter first because glue dries pretty fast. And use that. I want to be able to start putting the glitter on right away. So I'm going to dump some glitter out into this paper. Oh, sorry. Forgetting where my camera angle is. I'm going to dump some glitter out into this paper muffin cup liner. Actually, a little more. And I'm already getting it on the card. Okay, so this is also part of the reason I don't use this. I like how glitter looks. I don't necessarily like using it. Oh yeah, the Amazon machine, it's just an Amazon Basics laminator. I can put a link to it in the comments when I am done. And feel free to digress. Feel free to ask any questions. Happy to answer. Make this a little bit easier, but yeah. Glitter's just, it's so messy. I love the look. It just gets everywhere. Oh, a dotted background piece using the extra foil. Oh, now that's interesting. I like that. Okay, so we're gonna get the glue on the transfer. Couple of things real quick. I do have kits left. If anybody didn't grab one and wants one, I will put the link out when I am done, and I am giving away at least one, maybe two, from the comments. So comment away. I have about, I can't do math right now. I have about 15 minutes left. All right. And then I do want to show you one other thing that I'm giving away. It's not specific just to this event today, but I am giving it away. So we're going to pull this up. And then on this one, you do not want it to dry. So you're going to start and you're going to take and you're just going to apply the glitter. Make sure you cover as much, all of the design, which is a little bit difficult doing this on a white card, I'll admit, because it's hard to see the glue. And then you've got your design on there in your glitter. Now, the one thing that is difficult, and I didn't get my brush. I have an embossing brush that is good for also for getting excess glitter off, but because of the texture of the chalk suede card, the excess glitter kind of sticks. So this works a little better on cardstock in terms of getting the excess glitter off by just shaking the card. But I mean, still, it doesn't look bad with the excess glitter on it. And once I let this dry completely, it'll be a little bit easier. I can take my embossing brush and just very carefully brush into those areas. And then you've got that. And then I have done cards where I have combined, I have a Swiffer just for glitter cleanup. That's excellent. And I've also combined these techniques. So, for example, like this ho 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 card, you could do the ho 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 in just paste, and then let all that dry, clean your transfer, put it back down, put the glue on the little stars, and add glitter to that. And then so then you've got the paste, and then you've added a little pop of something with the glitter. So that's an option. And then I'm gonna clean up just ever so briefly. I do like using these little muffin tin liners for the glitter. It is a little bit easier to distribute the glitter to get it, and then to get it back into the container. I'm gonna try salt shakers. I had somebody tell me that salt shakers work really well for glue, which makes perfect sense. I've just never tried it before. I just got glitter all over me. So when I've been thrifting lately, I've been looking for inexpensive salt shakers that I can start using for glitter. And I'm just going to have glitter everywhere today. That's just how it's going to go. Okay, so I have about 10 minutes left. I wanted to show you all what this looks like on cardstock, because it has a very similar effect, but sometimes people get nervous about using this on cardstock because it's sticky. So I just wanted to walk through what that looks like, and also one of the ways that I like to use these minis, as I mentioned before, was just for embellishments. So, we have our chalk suede card. Get my score tape out. Forgot I was gonna need that. And so these are, how big are these? These are about 4 by 5.5. And so we're going to cut this piece of cardstock down. To like 3 3/4, which is going to be about right there. I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to worry about drawing lines and measuring. This is really all just about technique, so it's not going to be straight. It wouldn't be straight if I drew a line either, because I can't I can't cut a straight line even if I've drawn a straight line with a ruler. Just not how that works for me. So about 5 1/4, which is going to be right about there. And then we're going to just I'm just going to use bigger pieces of score tape. I'm going to put some score tape on the back of this. Watch my time. I think Tanya is back with you all at 11:45. If you did not catch her live this morning, make sure you go back and watch that replay, because those cards were super cute. So we're just going to put this on here. And then I'm going to, what did I do with my tray? Oh, here it is. I'm going to take my transfer sheet, and we're going to use this Let It Snow part of this transfer. And I'm going to grab some paste. that's super crooked. We'll put a little something down there at the bottom. So I'm going to take this and we're going to put this on the red cardstock. Oh, spice containers. Okay. That's good to know. That makes sense. And that's a little easier because as we just use them up, we will, I'll just save the containers. So this color is called Bubbly. This was a color of the month. Let's see, last year sometime, or January of this year maybe. It's a nice champagne color. It will pop really well in this red. I'm going to take this and apply to the cardstock. I'm going to excess off some of that. Just put it back in my jar. Pull that up, and because I fuzzed that really well, that just pulled up without any issues or problems. And then because this is still wet, I'm going to very carefully just kind of fussy cut it. Try to get a little bit around that hair. Sorry, my camera angle. I can't see what I'm doing. I forget that, you know, I'm not at a... You guys can't see just all around me. And then I'm gonna grab a little, let's see here. My foam dots are handy. Little foam dot. Pop that on the back of there. Pop that down on the card. That should be dry enough for me to just take the squeegee. I'm just going to go right in the middle of the star where there's paste, or the snowflake where there's paste. When it dries completely, I'll pop it on there better. But so now you've got a little bit of dimension, which is one of the things that I really love about these minis, is they give you that option to create an embellishment to put on a card. And then, you know, because I have this uneven, I've got this nice piece that's already cut, you know, with the waves that I could cut and put along the bottom, or I could just cut straight. You know, I could fix that pretty easily, but that was really more just about the technique than anything else. So yeah, so that's that. So that's one thing you can also do with those minis that I really like, and that works great for scrapbook pages, cards, gift tags, any other kind of project that you want to add a little bit of dimension to. Okay, so that is it for me. I'm giving away, I'm going to give away 2 kits from today. If you, I happen to pull your name and you order the kit, I'll give you a call or send you a message, and we will, we'll work something else out. I'll come up with something comparable. And then today is the last day of all of the Chalk Black Friday promos. So anybody who places an order today on my Chalk site will go into a drawing for this adorable little Santa's clothesline kit. And I will post a picture of it finished as well, so you all can see it. This is one of my absolute favorite things that they have come out with. So I'll post all those details later. So it is time for me to give you all back to Tanya. And I hope you enjoy the rest of the day. Thanks for watching, and I will see you all again in the new year.